This is Christine Via, Creative Memories Advisor, with part 2 of Croptoberfest project recipes, my way, or my version. So just pulling in some of the teal elements, and this was cut from the piece that I cut out of the beige layer. That's the second layer of the background. And then pulled in some avocado. And I know you look at this like avocado and teal. It actually does work because the buffer is going to be a neutral tone. And I decided to hand cut tags in case you didn't have a tag maker. These are about 2 1/4 inches wide and about 2 3/4 inches long to 3 inches long. And then I just punched a hole and just trimmed the little angles off. You could corner around all 4 corners of it if you wanted to. And then using foam squares to adhere this embellishment. So the pumpkin border punch is really nice sized pumpkins. Not a bunch of intricate stuff to get, jammed up sometimes. Putting a little bit of a title on there in teal that pulls all the teal together. So I am going to punch it in white and then brush a little bit of the beige ink on the surface after I use the tip of the multi-purpose tool to emboss pumpkin lines. This tool, the multi-purpose tool, is very handy for a lot of different things. And I often do some kind of embossing, either to mark where I need to cut something or to create the lines of this basic pumpkin punch. And so this pumpkin punch could be used for all through the autumn months. So if you need pumpkins for Halloween, pumpkins for Thanksgiving, pumpkins for your outside your house with your corn stalks and pumpkins, you've got this really neutral pumpkin border punch. They're $29. I have it in stock, or you can get it at Croptoberfest, or you can order from my website. There's just certain border punches that I think are pretty essential, and this is one of them. So I tried the dry brush at first. Now I have 2 different beige pads. One of them is really pretty much done, and it's the one I'm using. So it's really a stress. So it's just going to give a little bit of shading to the white pumpkin. And then I'm going to use I'm going to use hot fudge for the pumpkin stems. And I just tape those off. Another way you could do this is use the new chocolate, I don't know what they're calling the new brown dual tip pen. You could use that to color the stems. I wanted to have a little more shading to it, which is why I chose to use ink. There are options. I really encourage you to look at what it is you own and try to use that. Now that gets me into trouble when I'm doing videos for you because some things aren't available again, and I feel bad, but I do the new things, plus I'm trying to use up stuff that I have sitting here. So I decided I needed to put a little bit of a distance between the pumpkin paper and the white pumpkins. So I chose avocado, and I'm just going to offset it a smidge from the top and to the right a little, and using foam squares to adhere it down. I used foam squares to adhere the white onto the avocado, and then I used tape runner to adhere the avocado portion of it down, and I cut it kind of the width between the tags and the edge of the smallest layer, and then overlapped it a little bit. So now I'm going to try to decide. I'm going to use the teal to make a mat, a photo mat. And when I have a print, and I've talked about this before, I try to do a 1/2 inch larger than the photo size, so it has a full 1/4 inch border. That way you're able to see the design behind it. For cardstock, you can see I need to cut this a little bit smaller. For the cardstock, I like to do a 1/4 inch larger than your photo size in both directions. And that way you get an 1/8 inch. I call it the little peep behind the photo. And sometimes that's all you need to help set your photo off from a print or a color that changes the tone of your the colors in your photo. If you've ever noticed that when you're applying a photo to a mat, why your photo doesn't look right, and it's because of the color. If you have a red hue in your photos, go the opposite direction. Generally, to me, canary cardstock is a really good neutral for that, but or white. White is really good for helping to set that difference. And sometimes if it's a really light background, a darker color like the navy or blue or black. It just depends on your photo and what your theme is. But the way to tell if this is going to work is hold your photo against the different colors and see which ones brighten your photo and make it stand out a little better. I get kind of picky about the weirdest things, but that's one of them. So now I decided to use avocado, and I very rarely punch small photos or cut small photos. But let's say, for instance, this 2-page spread is for Thanksgiving. And maybe the larger photo that's horizontal is the family shot. And the smaller ones might be individual people, or it might be the different portions, maybe the decorations or the food or things like that, where you don't want to commit to a 4x6 photo for it. And 3x3, I think, is what I used here because I wanted 3 across. So I have both the teal and the white on that mat. And so you can't really see the photo. So hold on a second here. So I just inked the edge of the photo mat so that you could see the difference between the white and then the photo area. Well, this is page 1. And now this is page 2 in super duper speed time. I did some banners on the right side, put a little 2x2 photo matted there, put in a 4x6, and a spot for journaling is underneath the 4x6 photo. And there's plenty of room for a title across the top. Enjoy.